Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 24th to the 30th of March 2014. We begin the week with the Sun crossing over the spring equinox point. So the Sun has recently passed into Aries, and this signals a whole new cycle of the zodiac. So hopefully we've let go of anything that we don't want to take forwards now, and we're fresh and expanded and excited, rejuvenated and ready to take a whole new expanded cycle around the zodiac. So this is in effect New Year. So Happy New Year to everyone out there. So the spring equinox works from roughly the 20th to the 24th of March every year, and this is the rebirth. This is what all the Easter celebrations are about. If we look around the world, there's plenty of celebrations to do with bright colours, fertility, eggs and rebirth. So it's a festival that's celebrated quite often on a global scale. So we start this week with a fresh energy, with the Sun in Aries, and by the time we get to the end of the month we'll also have a new moon in Aries, so that's a second trigger, and that will be on the 30th. So we've really got a whole week of new beginnings, and it's really worth just tuning into the space that we've created and allowing that space for a while before we invoke some new intentions on the new moon. So it's quite a gentle week, one of gratitude, one of excitement, and one of starting to see the flowers grow, starting to see our new self bloom as we go through the week. But by the time we get to the 30th, we've got a new moon in Aries, and this is going to bring in a few of the tensions that we'll see as we build towards the full moon in Libra later on. So we have a full moon coming up which is very, very potent. It has a grand cross, and many of the planets are actually in disagreement with each other. So we are seeing some tensions build, but hopefully we've made enough room that we can actually appreciate the message of them and what they're bringing to us on a higher level, rather than taking things personally and feeling like the universe is having a go at us. So by the time we get to the new moon in Aries on the 30th, we have Saturn square Venus. Saturn represents our responsibility and our integrity, and Venus represents our values. So there may be an opportunity there to have a look and to make sure that we're really in coherence with what's true to our integrity, what we value and what it holds for us. It's on a very much a higher level here, so these should be values that will see us going forwards, values that suit the new you rather than the personality or the struggling lower self. So there's an opportunity there to really tune in and see what you value and what dignity and what respect and what core strength you can bring in for yourself to make sure that those two things are aligned. We also have the Sun and the Moon, which is square Pluto and Jupiter. So this begins this grand square that we're talking about, the Grand Cross. So the Sun and the Moon are squaring the opposition that we've been experiencing since last summer between Jupiter in Cancer and Pluto in Capricorn. So that's a bit more of an ongoing story. It's to have our foundation solid, to be really sure of who we are, and to be really sovereign and master heart to our emotions, not to get pulled into psychological and emotional conditioning and drama, but to actually stand strong for who we are and what we truly feel, rather than what we're told to feel. Because that's been the story of decades. We've been programmed to have these gut reactions to, oh, isn't it terrible, or I love this. Lots of likes going on Facebook, but what do we really like? That seems to be the message of this moon. It's okay to think for yourself, it's okay to feel for yourself, and it's okay to stand in your individuality. So if we can embrace this moon on the 30th, we'll actually be setting some very firm foundations to be able to deal with the Libra full moon Grand Cross that's coming up on the 15th mid-month. So this is going to be a find the space with the spring equinox, be true to yourself, let go of anything that's been programmed, that's not actually you, that's not serving you any longer, and to really set those very firm foundations. Yes, we can set a few intentions as well, but let's try and make those on a higher level, like intending to live in consciousness, intending to spend every moment in presence and being, rather than reaching out into the world for things that we perceive that we want. Because Mars is still going retrograde in Libra, and Mars takes our fire, our fervour, and turns it inwards and asks us what really lights our inner flame, and where can we actually find that harmony and balance within ourselves. So all in all, there's some space, there's some freshness, and there's some firm foundation setting coming up this week that should see us nice and strong, sovereign, independent, and self-aware, to live on a higher consciousness. And if everybody began to live from this perspective, then we'd see a lot of the problems of the world melting away, because we would stop giving our consent to all the things that are wrong, or being played with like puppets and told what we should think and feel and how we should act. If we start to actually do this for ourselves, then we'll find that a lot of the systems just melt away, because we're not putting our attention on them the way that we're being told to. So there's a feeling of rebellion here. I love Aries, it's that first spark, it's cardinal fire, and with Uranus in Aries as well, we're being told to think differently and to rewire our own structures. So we can set some really good intentions here to promise our higher selves that we'll live from that space, and hopefully then we'll start to see that reflect in a more global, collective way, with everybody switching off from all that's been wrong, switching off from compliance, and switching on to deep knowing, vision and sovereignty, and to actually make the changes that are needed come forth. So those are the flowers that are blossoming for us, and those are the horoscopes for this week. So I'll see you next week.